Story 1, The Forbidden Clearing. Picture this: a remote camping site, a clearing embraced by ancient, towering pines. Visualize their knotted trunks and emerald needles reaching for the heavens, constructing a natural cathedral that has withstood the passage of time. This was where the first tale of our camping adventures begins, with my friends and I entranced by the tranquility and enigma of this place. We were a group of 5. Mark, our thrill-seeker, was constantly on the hunt for the unexplored. Sarah, our master storyteller, kept us enthralled with her tales by the fireside. John, the resident survival guru who could turn anything into a shelter. Lisa, our nature enthusiast, always had her camera at the ready to freeze the wilderness's splendor. And then there was me, just a regular city dweller from my familiar territory, but excited to embrace the exhilaration of the great outdoors. As twilight approached, we settled in, our voices and laughter reverberating through the silent pines. We gathered around the campfire, swapping stories, toasting marshmallows, the outside world fading into insignificance. The towering pines, once teeming with life, now cast long, foreboding shadows that danced in the flickering firelight. Then, as the night sky was cloaked in darkness, a chilling calm descended. The buzz of the forest muted, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. An uncanny tension filled the air, setting my nerves on edge, as if the forest itself was in anticipation, poised for some unknown event. We tried laugh off the unease, blaming it on the unfamiliarity of the surroundings and the ghost stories we'd shared earlier. But as we retreated to our tents, this undisturbed silence of the wilderness lingered, serving as a haunting lullaby resonating in our dreams. As the last rays of sun disappeared, this eerie quietude of the pristine wilderness was a harbinger of the chilling night that lay ahead. Story 2, The Altar in the Woods. Rewind back to a few years. Another group of friends, 5 in number, ventured into this very forest, drawn by the allure of adventure and the unknown. Their camaraderie was infectious, their spirit unbreakable. Jack, the fearless leader, led the way, his unyielding courage. Emily, the quiet observer, captured the beauty of there in her sketchbook. Ryan, the curious soul, was always on the lookout for the extraordinary. Mia, the practical mind, kept them grounded with her logical thinking. And then there was Ben, the cautious one, who always had a plan B. They too, like us, had set up camp in a clearing surrounded by towering pines, unaware of the secrets the forest held. As night fell, they huddled around the campfire, sharing stories and laughter, but their merriment was short-lived. A strange feeling of dread washed over them, an unsettling calm that no one could explain. The forest seemed to be whispering warnings, the rustling leaves carrying tales of forgotten times. As they settled into their tents, an eerie silence engulfed the clearing. The once vibrant forest had fallen into an unnerving hush. But the night was far from over. In the dead of the night, they were awakened by a soft humming sound, a melody that seemed to echo through the trees. The sound was faint but clear, a spectral chant that sent chills down their spines. With a mix of fear and curiosity, they decided to investigate. Guided by the ethereal melody, they stumbled upon an ancient stone altar hidden deep within the forest. Overgrown with moss and vines, the altar bore the marks of time. It was bathed in an eerie glow, a ghostly luminescence that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the chant. The sight of the altar, hidden in the heart of the forest, sent a wave of dread through them. But little did they know, their discovery was only the beginning of a chilling tale that would forever change their lives. Story 3, The Unearthly Chant. In the dead of night, a faint haunting melody pierced the silence, like voices from another realm. The sound was ethereal, an uncanny lullaby that seemed to be carried on the wind, whispering secrets of forgotten ages. Our hearts pounded in our chests, a symphony of terror and curiosity that played in time with the eerie chant. Fear urged us to flee, but curiosity, that insatiable human, held us captive. As if under a spell, we began to trace the source of the spectral melody. Each step towards the unknown was a dance with trepidation. The towering pines seemed to sway in rhythm with the chant, their whispering needles adding to the symphony of the night. The forest, once a sanctuary of solitude, now echoed with the haunting notes of an unearthly chorus. We stumbled upon an abandoned altar, overgrown with the touch of time. Nature had claimed its right, weaving a tapestry of moss and vines over the cold, ancient stone. But the altar was not entirely forsaken. It was bathed in an eerie, ghostly light, a luminescence that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the chant. The light cast long, dancing shadows that played tricks on our eyes, making the altar appear as if it was breathing, alive. There was a sense of profound reverence here, a sacredness that tingled on our skin and raised the hair on our necks. The chant grew louder, the rhythm quicker, as if the altar, awakened from a long slumber, was calling out to the unseen. The melody was hypnotic, the rhythm primal, and for a moment time seemed to stand still. The altar, bathed in an ethereal glow, held a chilling secret, one that was about to unfold. The melody, once faint and distant, now enveloped us in its haunting embrace. We stood on the precipice of the unknown, our breaths held hostage by the chilling chant. The forest echoed with the spectral melody, and the night held its breath, waiting for the secret of the altar to reveal itself. As we stood in the chilling embrace of the unearthly chant, a figure emerged from the shadows. A lone traveller, cloaked in the darkness of the night, stumbled upon the scene. His eyes, wide with a mix of fear and curiosity, were drawn to the deserted campsite nearby. The remnants of a once lively gathering lay strewn about, abandoned and forgotten. The empty tents flapped in the wind, an eerie symphony to accompany the uncanny lullaby of the chant. The traveller's gaze fell upon the center of the campsite, where a campfire, bereft of any warmth or light, flickered with a ghostly flame. The fire danced and swirled, casting long and distorted shadows that played tricks on the eyes. Yet there was no heat, no comforting crackle of burning logs, only the ethereal glow of the phantom flames. The traveller, captivated by the sight, approached cautiously. He reached out, his hand passing through the spectral flames, feeling nothing but the chill of the night. The sight of the Phantom Campfire, coupled with the deserted campsite and the unearthly chant, filled the air with a sense of dread and foreboding. As if time stood still, the traveller stood there, caught in the haunting tableau of the Phantom Campfire, the deserted campsite, and the chilling melody of the chant. He was a witness to our terror, a solitary figure amidst the unfolding nightmare. One by one, my friends began to disappear, their echoing screams fading into the cold night air. Imagine the terror, the sheer horror, as companions you've known your whole life start to vanish into thin air. No trace left behind, save for their echoing screams and chilling whispers that lingered, a haunting serenade in the heart of the dense forest. The first was Charlie, known for his boisterous laughter, his presence always loud and clear. But that night, all that remained was a chilling silence, a void where Charlie's infectious energy once filled. Next was Lucy, our brave and fearless leader, her commanding voice that once guided us replaced by an eerie whisper that sent shivers down our spine. Then it was Tom, his witticisms and light-hearted banter, now just a fading memory replaced by the sinister hush of the pines. Panic set in, a gnawing fear that clawed at the edges of our sanity. The realization was inescapable. We were not alone in these woods. Something lurked in the shadows, an unseen terror that picked us off one by one. In a desperate attempt to escape the unfolding nightmare, I fled. The once familiar path was now a labyrinth of shadows and fear. Each rustle of the leaves, every creak of the towering pines, sent waves of dread coursing through my veins. The darkness was oppressive, the silence deafening. It was a race against an unseen enemy, a chilling game of hide-and-seek where the stakes were impossibly high. The cold seeped into my bones, the terror a constant companion as I stumbled through the undergrowth, tripping over hidden roots, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The forest was a living, breathing entity, its whispers growing louder, the shadows growing darker. Haunted by the sinister presence among the trees, I fled deeper into the darkness. Alone and shaken, I emerged from the forest, the morning sun a harsh contrast to the horrors of the night. Relief washed over me as I broke free from the foreboding shadows of the pines. But with each step I took, the weight of the night's terror seemed to sink deeper into my core. I had escaped, yes, but at what cost? The eerie hush that had once blanketed the clearing now reverberated in my mind, a constant reminder of the terror that lurked in the secluded grove. The haunting melody that had lured us to the abandoned altar still echoed in my ears, an unearthly chant that seemed to ripple through the very air around me. I could still see the eerie, ghostly light that bathed the overgrown altar, its spectral glow a stark memory against the brightness of the day. My friends, my companions, where were they? Their echoing screams and chilling whispers were the only remnants they had left behind. Each one had vanished, swallowed by the sinister presence that lurked among the towering pines. Their absence was a void that gnawed at me, a void filled with regret and an overwhelming sense of loss. The forest, once a place of wonder and adventure, had transformed into a nightmarish maze, its darkened paths haunted by an unseen terror. I had fled, desperate to escape the sinister presence that stalked me through the undergrowth. But even as I stood in the safety of the daylight, I could still feel its chilling gaze upon me. The memory of that forsaken clearing was now etched into my mind, a haunting reminder of the horrors that had unfolded. The ancient pines, once majestic and awe-inspiring, now whispered chilling tales of terror and loss. Their towering forms seemed to loom over me, an oppressive shadow that stretched across my consciousness. Though I escaped, the memory of that forsaken clearing and the chilling whispers of the pines will forever haunt me. The haunting melody, the chilling whispers, the overgrown altar and the sinister presence, all woven into the fabric of my existence, a haunting memory that would forever echo in the whispering pines. We stumbled upon a seemingly deserted campsite, complete with an unattended flickering campfire and scattered belongings. The place was eerily silent, as if the very air held its breath, and the forgotten remains of a meal lay untouched, frozen in time. A sense of unease began to creep in as we realized there was no sign of the campers who had left their site behind. It was as though they had vanished into thin air, their stories left untold. The sun began to set, casting long shadows that danced with the flickering firelight. The campfire seemed to take on a life of its own, its flames leaping and twisting in unnatural ways. The light cast by the fire was mesmerizing, yet unsettling, as though it was a beacon for things unseen. As darkness fell, the firelight began to contort, forming ghostly figures that danced and swirled within the flames. Their movements were strange and discordant, as if they were performing a ritual to an unsteady, haunting rhythm. The figures seemed to beckon us, their ethereal forms flickering with an eerie glow that sent chills down our spines. Suddenly the flames extinguished themselves, leaving us in a suffocating darkness that was broken only by the distant sounds of whispering leaves and rustling branches. We fumbled for our flashlights, but they too failed, leaving us vulnerable in the oppressive blackness. Our hearts pounded in our chests as we realized we were not alone. In a desperate bid to escape, we stumbled through the darkness, guided only by the faint glimmer of distant stars. Each step echoed with the memory of the spectral figures, their haunting dance etched into our minds. As the flames vanished, plunging us into darkness, we were left alone with the spectral figures dancing in our memories. The Phantom Campfire had become a chilling reminder of the unexplained mysteries that lurk in the shadowy corners of the world, forever scarred by the memory of that haunting night.